Happy holidays and welcome to the worst sports channel on YouTube, Hot Garbage Sports, with me, Coach Ryan D. Canada and the USA, 1-0, baby. In this video, we're going to talk about the Team Canada over Czechia, the former name of the Czech Republic, the Czechs, if you will. Canada's dominating victory over the Czechs. And then we're going to talk about the United States winning 3-2 over former Czechoslovakia. Czechs, Slovakia play Canada and the US. The world's an interesting place, but the USA wins 3-2. The box score doesn't really tell the story for the Americans. The Americans were a lot more dominant than what the box score will say, but in one-game elimination tournaments, you never know what's going to happen, and the Slovaks almost upset America. So let's start with Canada first, USA on the back half. Let's roll the intro. We'll get after it. Canada, USA, world hockey fans, smash subscribe, smash like, big thumbs up for Coach Ryan D as we cover you through the World Junior Tournament as the NHL is on a little bit of a pause right now. We appreciate your support on this channel. We couldn't do it without all of you. Let's get back at the breakdowns. So Canada and the Czechs was an interesting game. The tournament is very interesting. For those of you who are casual hockey fans to the tournament, this is very difficult. Players come together. They don't play with each other regularly. They only got one exhibition game. Normally they get three. Not a lot of time to gel. And the Canadiens always have a lot of pressure on them. Notice the little gold outline on their jersey. Hockey Canada puts that because Hockey Canada demands gold. They have outright said it. Hockey Canada demands and looks for gold. So the pressure on the Canadiens is absolutely immense from within their home country and their own organization. So when these kids come out, and they are kids, they're all 19 and under, there's a lot of pressure to perform night one, and playing the Czechs is a pretty tough night one battle. This isn't the Germans. Mason McTavish opens up the scoring. We said in our previous video that McTavish is the best forward for Canada, and I still think after this game, he still remains that. He is a one-man snipe show. What a beautiful dangle by Mason McTavish. Mason McTavish is NHL ready. He should be in the NHL right now, but the Ducks got a very strong roster, so it is to the benefit of Team Canada that McTavish was able to step in, and on that first goal, he really lets the team know it. From there on, the Czechs respond with 3 unanswered goals, and this may seem, hey, this is a feisty Czechs team. Canada could be in some trouble, but at no point in time did it look like Canada was in trouble to me. This looked like a group of Canadian kids who weren't playing in their typical D-zone structure. They were a lot more open. They were a lot more loose. And this happens in the World Juniors. It's why it's so exciting, because when you've only had one game together and you come into this, you get a little overzealous. You're looking for points. You're looking for hits. You're looking to blow guys up. And that's what Canada was looking to do. And the Czechs end up capitalizing on it, making it a quick 3-1 lead for the Czechs. The problem from the Czechs here is that they didn't keep their foot on the gas, and they started changing their game. They started hoping, oh man, maybe we have them. If we can shut down our team defense and we can go ahead and keep the Canadiens to the outside, maybe we can sneak out with a win. That's not the way to beat Canada. It needs to be all gas all the time in order to beat the Canadiens, because the Canadiens have a tendency to beat themselves at times. When they get out of control and they start running around and taking penalties, Canada gets in trouble. And trust me, these Canadian kids, they're tough, they're nasty, they're mean, they're aggressive. There is a reason the Canadiens are so feared at this tournament when it comes to hockey. Everybody wants to play them. Everyone wants to beat them. But in the back of your mind, when the Canadian boys start taking runs and liberties with you, it gets really, really painful for these European players. And it's difficult for the European teams playing on the smaller ice. It's a totally different game. So heavy favor to Canada and the USA in this tournament. Now, Canada ends up putting this one away with a 5-on-3 power play for an extended period of time. Owen Power, I've talked to you about it. He's the driving force. He's the best player in this tournament, bar none. He gets a hat trick for Canada as a defenseman. He calms everybody down in this 5-on-3, and he ends up caking it home for the Canadiens. Power is just a completely special player. He's an enigma. He's a game changer. It's very rare you see a 101 draft pick playing in this tournament. We get the privilege to watch Owen Power work. Now, the Czechs, they get introduced to international refereeing here, and I love international refereeing. I want to take a pause here. For those of you that are watching the NHL, hey, this is the way refereeing should be. Period. Hard stop. When you cross-check a guy in the face, it doesn't matter that there was another penalty taken. So the Czechs take a trip when they're already on the penalty kill. It's a 5-on-4. In the NHL, when that trip happens, when you're already on a power play, the odds of the ref throwing you in the box are very low. The international officials put their hands up. They say, we call the rules as the rules are written, and he's going to the box. After that, an extra cross-check to the face to a Canadian player in front of the net, who, yes, did go into the goalie, but that second cross-check ends up costing it, and the referee takes 2 penalties to the Czechs, so they have 3 men in the box at that time. And in junior hockey and in the NHL, that never would have been called. That's not a thing that would happen. I love it in this instance because when the whistle goes, it's done, boys. Skate away, walk away, reset the play. We want to see goals. And look what it does, NHL. Take a moment, take a look at what it does. It allows the game to open up for offense. Stop calling the game the way you call it the NHL. Call it this way. It makes perfect sense. But then Owen Power and the Canadiens show you exactly what you're supposed to do with a 5-on-3. So I want to take a look and draw your attention to this. This is what's called a box plus 1 when you're playing a 5-on-3. You can see 4 players to the outside, 1 player in the inside. Box plus 1. This is not a typical 1-3-1 that we end up running on 5-on-4s. And the goal with a 5-on-3 when you're watching this, folks, is that you want the shot, not just a shot. So you're not just looking for shots from the point for power number 25 at the bottom of your screen here. You're actually looking for the perfect shot. It doesn't matter if you only get 1 shot on a 5-on-3. It has to be the right shot. So anytime you're sitting there with your fans and you hear your friends yelling, "Shoot! Why is he shooting? Shoot!" Shut up! Let the boys work. There's a way you need to run it, and Canada runs this absolutely flawlessly. This is a clinic on how to run a 5-on-3. You can see little switch here. Cole Perfetti ends up finding Owen Power with just a beautiful, beautiful shot to the top, and then it ends up going in front for Power's second goal, who's down low and below. What a beautiful shot by Canada. And what you'll notice there is that none of those shots were big boomers looking for the top corner. They were looking for rebounds and deflections in front. You have your 2 guys below. Owen Power ends up banging in his second goal down low from there. You end up getting across the Royal Road to the pass there for Canada. It was a beautiful, clinical 5-on-3. Go ahead, rewind it, watch the tape if you want to know how to run a 5-on-3. If you're a coach with kids, anything, that is how you do it. It was perfect. After that, the game is out of reach. Canada ends up going up 4-3. They end up potting 2 more at that point. Connor Bedard ends up getting a point. Bedard's still the 13th man. He gets to play with Cole Perfetti. And the last part we'll talk about Canada is that Mason McTavish, I still think, is the best forward for Team Canada. Owen Power is the best player, but Cole Perfetti has the second best night out of anybody on this team. Perfetti is a magician. He is a playmaker. Cole Perfetti is a fantastic centerman with great defensive zone responsibilities. He can do it on the power play. He can do it 5-on-5. He can likely do it on the kill. Cole Perfetti is one of the best passers in the World Juniors, and he may actually end up being one of the best playmakers in the NHL when he finally breaks in for the Winnipeg Jets. So Cole Perfetti ends up just looking fantastic for Canada up there. Canada is dominant, 36 shots to 17 against the Czechs. The Canadiens roll them. It'll be anything but a surprise if Canada doesn't come out of this group undefeated 4-0. Let's get on to the Americans. The United States ends up outshooting them 42-25. Like I said, the Americans were basically in control this entire game. Both the Slovaks and the Czechs had moments where they gave a little bit of a scare to Canadian and the Americans, but nope, this was an all-American dominant game. And Canadian fans, don't get it twisted. If you stayed around for this half of the video, the Americans are the second best team in this tournament. They may be the best team in this tournament. And Matthew Knies, the Toronto Maple Leafs prospect, shows us why. He ends up with a pass from Logan Cooley. Cooley's an amazing player on the power play, and it was the American power plays 5-on-4 that does the damage here in this game. The first 2 goals power play will show you the difference between the 5-on-3s and the 5-on-4s. But Knies buries the first one from Cooley. It's 1-0. The Americans never looked back from that point. Mackie Samoskevich ends up scoring on the second power play from, Matthew Beniers. We got a video above why Matthew Beniers is one of the best players for the Seattle Kraken. He was taken number 2 after Owen Power. Matty Beniers was the best centerman available in last year's draft. Beniers is special. He's an incredible talent for the Americans. He will be an incredible talent for the Seattle Kraken. Beniers gets his first point on the power play here with an assist. With a third assist, Matthew Coronoto ends up getting the second assist. Beautiful American power play goal here. The Americans are up 2-0 because of their deadly power plays. You got to stay out of the box in the IIHF. And again, same reason the referees are going to call everything because the rule book is called exactly as it's called. The Americans with the 2-man advantage here. Cooley ends up finding Knies with a beautiful pass into the middle and just boom, right in the back door. This is what I mean by you want the shot, not just a shot. Goal number 2 comes with 13 seconds left on the power play. It's a 5-on-4 at this point. The Americans are actually being outshot 7-8. We can see here that they're running a typical 1-3-1, 1 at the top with number 8, 3 guys down the middle, and 1 in front of the net. This is what's different than the box plus 1 that Canada was running in the 5-on-3. And on the 5-on-4, you're looking for a shot from the shooters. So you're looking from Samoskevich, number 11 there on the back door. You're looking to get him the puck. The puck carrier with the puck on the far right side, he can shoot from here. You're looking for shots from those shooter areas, and it ends up working for America. They end up putting it up to the top. Beautiful cross crease pass. They go down to cover it. What an amazing, amazing goal. And here you go. You can see, we've talked about this on this channel before, half visors and all this, but take a look right now. He's covering his face. Of course he's covering his face. Blocking his shot hurts. If you want to know about blocking shots, when sticks should be in lanes, the video is linked above. When to block, when to not block. Really informative video to help you watch hockey better. But he ends up covering his mouth up, which takes away his view on the puck, and Samoskevich ends up finding an absolute monster hole here and puts it in. Beautiful top shelf bar down ski goal. So the Americans take this 3-2. They're going to be rolling. They are shooting like crazy. 45 shots. That's just incredible in this tournament. And we are looking forward to the time when Canada and USA will meet. It's always the best game in this tournament. So American fans, Canadian fans, get ready. Let's get hot. A couple notes from this tournament. Why are Canada and the USA so deadly and deep at this tournament? This is a 19-year-old tournament, folks. Most of the best 19-year-olds are playing in the NHL and not allowed to come back to their respective teams. So when you look at Finland, when you look at Sweden, when you look at Russia, they're either playing in the KHL and they're not coming back, or they're playing in the NHL and they're not coming back for the tournament. The Russians, the Swedes, the Finns, the Czechs, the Slovaks, they have their talent, but the talent they normally come to this tournament with is 17 and 18 because their 19-year-olds end up playing in the NHL. When you have small populations like these countries that produce fantastic, amazing hockey players per capita, and they don't always get to send their best because their best are usually locked up with NHL contracts. Now you can say the same thing about the Canadiens and the Americans. Canada wasn't allowed to take Seth Jarvis to this. Obviously the Hughes brothers never ended up playing past the age of 18, etc., 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 etc. They always end up staying in the NHL. It's rare you end up seeing 19-year-olds from Canada and the USA that are first round draft picks, but we have a few this year because COVID's kind of weird. But what makes Canada and the USA so special is the sheer volume of second and third round picks at age 19 that end up playing in this tournament. So yes, there's a lot of first round picks for both teams that squeak through. The best players end up staying back. They don't get to bring the best on best, but the depth of these two teams is untouchable because they have massive amounts of picks between round 2 and round 5 from Canada and the USA. So when they lose players to the NHL, they just retool in with more depth. Whereas the Slovaks, the Czechs, the Swedes, the Finns, and the Russians, they just don't have that depth. They don't have as many second, third, fourth, and fifth rounders to continue drawing from to feed this tournament. Their talent ends up dropping off quite significantly. Now you can make the easy argument to say that, okay, well, if Canada and the USA all got to send their best and the world got to send their best, they would still win. And you're likely right. But it is an interesting thing to point out at this tournament that the amount of depth that the Canadians and the Americans have, it's what makes them so dangerous. And then when they get to play at home in North America on the small ice, it's a totally different game. They get massive advantages. Canada and the USA should end up medaling in this tournament. I'd be very surprised if anyone doesn't. But it's a one-game elimination tournament and every team has their talent. So the Swedes, the Finns, the Russians, if they end up winning gold, silver, bronze, hey, we go ahead, we eat our words. But in a 7-game series, it would be Canada and the USA all day, every day. That's why it's not a 7-game series. It's why it's super exciting. Thanks, guys. Subscribe, join, follow us.